Returning to me rambling about the bizarre way my employers pick anime for me, it's weird how most of the time these animes are in everyone's minds, don't you think? Though, incidentally, what even makes an anime popular? Is it the sales numbers? The thing I barely have ever tracked because it has about as much use to my show as the ability to discern venereal diseases by smelling a person's armpits? Or is it the word of mouth? How many people are talking about this anime and make obnoxious video essays about it? Well, that too is something I'm not really sure of. It's not like I specifically go out of my way to actually read or listen to any of the hoopla surrounding the production of the show. Usually, if even I hear about that, it means the shit show went way beyond the closed fandom. What was I talking about again? Ah yes, so, The Night Beyond the Tricornered Window. Have you ever heard about this anime? I sure didn't. I'm not even sure it has official subtitles or not. But regardless, in an undisclosed Japanese city lives a boy that can see spirits. His name is Kosuke Mikado. And one day while working in a bookstore, he encounters Rihito Hiyakawa, who is basically Reagan from Mob 100 mixed with Grey from 50 Shades books. And thus, under his patronage, they enter the world of magic, curses, and all that other good shit people don't like to talk about, encountering exactly 4 interesting people while undisclosed homoerotic activities happening between Kosuke and Rihito, like Rihito putting Kosuke on a magical leash to make sure he doesn't go and fuck around other men. So before I start assessing my views on the anime, dear viewer, answer yourself this simple question. Do you like characters similar to Grey from 50 Shades? This successful alpha male that does stuff to his lover that is at best amoral or traumatic, and at worst illegal, but it's okay because he's sexy and cool and also has a sad, traumatic past that resolves him of all guilt and gives his lover a hope that they can fix him and turn into a good man. If yes, then you will probably like this anime, as the relationship between Kosuke and Rihito is exactly what I've explained up to the Stockholm Syndrome in the last episode where Kosuke literally fixes him. If not, well, you'll be very annoyed by the romance part of the anime and maybe even creeped out if you're not into the dumb subroutine in relationships. The romance here is in that fun little grey area where it's not the typical Christian romance of 2 soulless humans expressing their desire to commit sexual intercourse but resisting the urges because God forbids people to fuck, and doesn't go into the logical way of turning lovers into nuggets. It scratches that urge for a dominant partner while playing it safe, so sorry if I accidentally sold the anime for you on that premise. And the other parts of the show are revolving around this romance to the best of their abilities. There is this subplot about Kosuke's father and curses, and it felt so tackled on, especially in the later parts of the show when Kosuke and his father are basically fighting it out for the right to claim Rihito in a pocket dimension, which sounds about as silly as you imagine it to be. And there's also the weird blonde twat that appears in every single one of these animes that tries to be serious and doesn't do jack shit. It's as if the original visual novel, or whatever, had a specific plotline where you can fuck him instead of Rihito, and they've chosen to add the important story parts from that into the Rihito's route. I should stress that I don't hate the anime. Oh, don't worry, Auntie, it was totally coming across with all your swearing and references to mutilation. It's a relatively smooth ride most of the time. I somewhat tolerated the romance in it, and I greatly enjoyed the way magic is portrayed in this anime, and I also liked Erika Hiura as a character. I think the real problem with Night It's Time to Upgrade My Ubuntu is the same one I had with Phantom Requiem for the Phantom, and that there's a recurring sense of there just not being enough. It emphasizes on these concepts and ideas that look as if they're forming a coherent narrative that falls apart under any serious levels of scrutiny, resulting in a weird, semi-coherent mess where some elements are really good and functional while the rest of it is bland, forgettable, and gets abandoned if something even farts suspiciously in their direction. It's Mob 100 without the charisma. It's Otherworld Picnic without the elegance, and while this approach to urban fantasy is somewhat novel and will inspire me for some of my own projects, The Night of the Angry Geese isn't quite funny, unique, or charming enough to recommend.